Hey everybody, I'm Sam and this is the Entiversal Success Mindset podcast in which I talk about ideas, revelations, or just questions I'm thinking on and approaches that are working for me. Today I wanted to talk about emotional intelligence. What is it? Why is it important? This is part one of the emotional intelligence conversation, which I will continue in my next podcast, where I will talk more on the emotional intelligence components, how we can develop them, and what are the exact benefits of each of those components and how do they connect together. So to begin with, while in the recent years emotional intelligence has been gaining popularity, and you have probably either read the book Emotional Intelligence or you've heard somebody talk about it, a lot of celebrities and entrepreneurs, but I still feel like a lot of people are not as familiar with it as, for example, IQ, right? Everybody knows about IQ, which is still the main paradigm which we use to measure intelligence. What is emotional intelligence and how is it different than IQ? Well, IQ, or the intelligence quotient, is primarily associated with our ability to memorize, to retrieve items from our memory, and logical reasoning. While the more formal definition of emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. I don't really like a lot of formal definitions, so to say it more casually, emotional intelligence has three main blocks, the way I understand it. First, it is about being aware of emotions, why and when each type of emotion occurs, and the relationships between them. Second comes understanding that emotions can drive our behavior, and so they define a big part of our environment, or in other words, what is happening to us, right? And this is, I think, extremely important to understand that emotions are not just something virtual inside of us, but they actually influence our environment and our success by that definition. And last, learning how to manage those emotions, right? Both our own and other people's, especially in important or dynamic situations when we're under pressure. Okay, so now we know what emotional intelligence is, but let's elaborate a little bit more on why some people believe it is more important than IQ for overall success. Because I think that is very interesting, and this is the Success Mind podcast, right? So, well, there is an actual neuroscience research on how people decide to buy stuff. It showed that humans make decisions on emotion and later justify it with logic, right? So I believe this can probably be extended to more than just shopping. We have all kind of been there, right? In situations when we make like hasty decisions, which is kind of another word for emotional decisions, or outright decisions because we just felt like it. And later we try to explain, the reasoning and the significance of our actions exactly with logic. And of course, in the situations when we really cannot, we regret it. So I think it is becoming clearer why the ability to fully understand how you feel, the way that your emotions can influence your situation, and then being able to control that has an enormous impact on all of our relationships, how we make decisions, how we negotiate, and how we identify opportunities. If one is really able to understand and control their decision making in order for it to be based on facts and objectiveness, while in the same time being able to understand not only the mindset of the person in front of them, but also how they will react in different cases, That is obviously a great advantage to have in any situation where other people are involved. To expand on that, let me mention the critical skills that emotional intelligence is believed to be foundation for. These are skills like empathy, stress tolerance, social skills, trust, accountability, anger management, assertiveness, teamwork, decision making, time management, communication, change tolerance, flexibility. So it's quite obvious that these are very great skills to have, right? So I think at this point it's very clear why a lot of people believe that emotional intelligence is more important for success than having very high IQ, especially in areas like business, entrepreneurship, or anything social, really, right? And I believe that emotional intelligence is becoming more and more important because the barriers to communication between people fall thanks to technology. I know a lot of people would argue with me that the world has become more antisocial because of technology, but I do not share this view. I believe today each of us has a much bigger opportunity to express ourselves, to create relationships, get out there and start things than any time in the past. However, all of those ventures, in the end of the day, they are based on relationships, right? And social interaction in one form or another. So emotional intelligence can help us transcend in those areas and push us to do great things and to really succeed. I hope you enjoyed this quick summary of what emotional intelligence is and why it is important. I hope you find it valuable. Please share with me what did you find interesting. I would love to have a conversation with you. Do not forget to check out my next podcast where I will expand more on how we can develop emotional intelligence. And make sure to subscribe and click the ring bell to get notifications for more great content from Entiversal. Thank you and stay on the path to great things.